Today we're going to learn about a new kind of fractions, which is fractions of a set. So you already know about fractions of a whole, where you take one whole and we split it up into pieces. So if I look at my rectangle, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and there are 1, 2, 3 that are shaded blue. So the fraction for this rectangle is 3/5 of the rectangle is shaded blue. And we already know how to do that and how to name this. If I look at this triangle, the exact same thing. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. I could say that one piece is shaded green, so the fraction of this rectangle that's shaded green is 1/4. I even know how to do it when I have more than one whole. So if I look at this model, they're all cut up into 1, 2, 3 pieces. This is also cut up into 1, 2, 3 pieces. So my denominator is still going to be 3, because that's how much a whole is cut up into, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces shaded in. So the fraction for this would be 5/3. Or I could say 1, because this is one whole, and I've got then 1/2 shaded in. And those are the same. So we already know how to do this. So now, though, we're going to learn how to do fractions of a set. So I can think of a group of objects as being one whole, So I can think of this group of trucks as being a whole. So this is one whole set. It's one whole set. And if I think of this group of trucks as being one whole set, I can find some fractions in it. So if I wanted to say what fraction of these trucks are red, I'm going to count how many trucks there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to say there's 1, 2, 3 that are red. So the fraction of trucks that are red is 3/6. And so I can just think of this little group of trucks as being a set. I can do it for any of the colors. I could say, all right, well, what fraction of the set are yellow? And then I'd see I've got one yellow right here and another yellow truck right here. So now I've got 2/6 of my trucks are yellow. I could do the same thing with the green. So when I'm talking about a fraction of a set, I'm talking about this group of trucks as being one whole set. That's where I get my whole from. And then I can think of each truck in here as being a piece. So it's a little bit strange, but I can make fractions of wholes by doing that. Let's look at another one. And I'm going to start with the same thing. I'm going to count my fruit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 fruit. So I know that my denominator for all of these is going to be 10, because I've got 10 pieces of fruit that make up the whole set of fruit. So if I wanted to say what is the fraction of apples, I'd look at it and I'd go 1, 2 apples. So it's going to be 2/10 of the fruit are apples. If I wanted to say what fraction of the fruit are red, I'm going to count all the red fruit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to say 6/10 of the fruit are red. So again, I'm thinking of all the fruit as one whole and each piece of fruit as a piece of the whole. So then I can do fractions. So now that I have showed you how to do it, let's look at this question. What fraction of the kids are wearing hats? So I want to know how many people are wearing hats. But before I can figure out my fraction, remember, I've got to count all of the kids because that's going to be my denominator. I'm going to start and count my kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to be my denominator. So I'm going to put it up here. And then I want to know how many are wearing hats. So I see that I've got 1 hat here. And I've got 1 hat here. So that would be 2/5. So what fraction of the kids are wearing hats? 2/5 of the kids are wearing hats. Now, I want you to look at this question. What fraction of the kids are not wearing hats? And I want you to pause this video and see if you can figure out what is the fraction of the kids that are not wearing hats. So remember, again, I'm going to count them. And then I'm going to look at how many do not have hats. No hat, no hat, no hat. And I'm going to say I have 3/5 of the kids are not wearing hats. You can do this with all kinds of things. So I'm going to go through each one of these and I'm going to read the question. I want you to pause and figure out the answer, and then I will write up the answer and you can see if you got it right. So what fraction of the shapes are stars? That's my first question right here. So I'm looking for stars and what fraction of the shapes are stars. So pause it and see if you can figure it out. If you got 3/9 of the shapes are stars, you are correct. Now look at my next question. What fraction of the shapes are purple? Go ahead, pause it, and see if you can figure that one out. If you got 4/9, you are correct because there are 4 purple shapes and my denominator stays the same because I don't change how many shapes I have altogether. And the last one is, what fraction of the shapes are not circles? So pause it and see if you can figure it out. If you got 7/9, you are correct because there are 2 circles and there's 9 shapes. So 7 of them are not going to be circles. And if you notice, remember, my denominator always stays the same because I never change how many shapes I have. So let's try something that's a little bit trickier. This question says, you have 4 apples. If 3/4 of the apples are red, what fraction of the apples are green? Let's think about this. And what I can do is I can think of all the important parts of my question. So I have 4 apples. Okay? 3/4 of the apples are red, and I want to know what fraction of the apples are green. Okay? So let me start with thinking, all right, I've got 4 apples. Okay, I know I've got 4 apples, so let me draw 4 apples. Okay, 1 apple, 2 apples, they're not great apples, but whatever, 3 apples, 4 apples. Okay, so I know I have 4 apples. And it says 3/4 of them are red. So how many am I going to color in red if 3/4 of them are red? If you said 3, then you're right. I'm going to color in 3 of them red. And I'm going to do this quickly because my pen is not very thick. And so if I have 3 of them are red, then I know the rest will be green. So I'll color this green. And then I can see, oh, I only have 1 apple that is green. But remember, my answer is not 1 because it's asking me what fraction I have. So again, if I think of this as 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, I would say that 1/4 of the apples are green. And that would be the answer to this problem. Because again, I've got 4 apples, 3, if I think of the apples as a set, I can think of each apple as 1 piece. And so I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces that are red and 1 piece that's green. So let's try this last one. And again, I want you to pause and see if you could figure this one out on your own, and then I'll show you how I did it. You have 8 basketballs and soccer balls. If 6/8 of the balls are basketballs, what fraction of the balls are soccer balls? Okay, so let's read it again and do our important information. So we know that it's about balls, right? And we have soccer balls and basketballs. So let's read it again. You have 8 basketballs and soccer balls. If 6/8 of the balls are basketballs, what fraction of the balls are soccer balls? So what we're trying to find out is what fraction of the balls are soccer balls. That's what I want to find out. And my important information is I have 8 basketballs and soccer balls. So I've got 8 balls. So you know what? I'm just going to write that up there. I've got 8 balls. And it says 6/8 of the balls are basketballs. Okay. And now I need to figure out what fraction of the balls are soccer balls. I want you to pause and see if you can figure out how to answer this question. So now I'll show you how I would answer the question. I know that I have 8 balls, so that's what I'm going to draw first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I know 6/8 of the balls are basketballs. So I'm going to make 6/8 of these basketballs. So that's 4 of them, 5 of them, and 6 of them. And remember, I know this is 6/8 because I'm treating all the balls as one whole, and each ball is a piece. So now I need to know what fraction are soccer balls. And if I see I've got 2 here that are left over, and those 2 would need to be soccer balls. Now I'm not very good at drawing soccer balls, so we're just going to like make something up here and pretend a soccer ball. Oops. So we'll pretend that's a soccer ball. It doesn't look like much. One more like a spider, but that's okay. So I look at it and I say, oh yeah. So 2 8s. And remember to make sure you have 8 because there are 8 balls. You don't want 2 6s because there aren't 6 balls. There's 8 of them. The whole is 8. And each ball is a piece. So 2 8s of the balls are soccer balls. And that is how you do fractions of a set. So just remember to make sure that you think of your set of items as a whole and each individual item as a piece. And then you'll have no problem finding the fractions for different parts of the set. I am going to link in and include underneath the video a worksheet that you can do on your own and a Kahoot that you can do that talk about fractions of a set.